reach the stage on Fox.
Okay, so you're saying that there's no correlation between just were lower during Donald Trump's presidency than between Biden?
I mean, well, yeah. Would you like to? Could you tell me how you think that the Biden and Harris administration caused an increase in the price of gas?
Well, first of all, which I don't want to get into this because I think we're not from that area, so we're disinformed about it. But sending the billions and billions of dollars that we've sent to Ukraine. And
so government spending caused an increase in gas. So if government spending caused an increase in gas, we would have expected to see a larger increase in the price of gas under Trump due to more government spending.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, well, one, I would say just plain and simple that Biden didn't get gas prices lowered because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not a businessman like Trump who can get things done. He did the same thing with NATO when NATO wasn't.
1 second, Sarah. Thank you so much for these $19 on Venmo for being a smart 19-year-old. Sarah, I really appreciate you so much. Sarah says, for your intelligence and logic, please run for president one day. That's so incredibly kind of you, Sarah. Chat, please show some love to Sarah in the chat for the $19 on Venmo. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. And Julia, thank you for the $15 on PayPal saying for dealing with the MAGA emotionals. That's a new word. I like that. Massive W's for Julia for the $15 and massive W's for Sarah for the $19. Thank you both so very much. Good.
So not only he also did with NATO when NATO wasn't raising enough money. He comes in and says, "Listen, if you don't start sending in more money, we're not going to protect you." Now that might have not been the nice guy way to go about it. Like Biden, he really tries to play the nice guy, the everybody's friend. But as a president, you need to be fierce. You need to be feared. That's a big thing about being the president. Putin's feared. We need to.
Real quick. If you think that Trump that Putin fears Trump more than Harris, then why has Putin interfered with the 2016, 2020, and now the 2024 election, pushing pro-Trump, anti-Harris propaganda?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that again?
If Putin fears Trump more than Harris, then how come Putin wants Trump reelected? Wouldn't this tell us that Putin actually fears Harris more than Trump?
No, not at all. It's who do you want to deal with? It's do you want to deal with Donald Trump, who's very straightforward.
Andy, thank you for the laughing house. I really appreciate that.
He's very straightforward, but at the same time, it's like as these presidents, they can be friends, but at the same time, hey, if you step in my shoes, I'm going to hurt you.
Wait, doesn't Putin want Russian expansion? Doesn't Putin want like a tyrannical dictatorship at the sake of human rights, literally killing his political opponents, right? Which are all bad things, right? And if Putin also wants Trump to be reelected, that means that Putin sees Trump as less of a threat, right, to these bad advancements of his and like the goals of his country, right? And that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, right? So I think that would disprove your point there. Then about your point of him being a quote unquote good businessman, can you name one other good businessman with 6 bankruptcies?
Well, they say if you don't go bankrupt, you're not trying. But
you can't. Tara, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo for dealing with MAGA freaking out. Yeah, thank you so much for the love, Tara, and thank you for the galaxy as well. Massive W's for Tara down below. Right, so you can't name one other quote-unquote good businessman with 6 bankruptcies. This man isn't a good businessman. He literally bankrupted the casino.
You argue with the Trump Industries. You can't. Do you have a multi-billion-dollar business?
No, but if I had a multi-billion-dollar business, I probably wouldn't build that on top of a $400 million endowment for my father, 6 bankruptcies, including one on a casino, right? Then additionally here, if you want to talk about who world leaders are going to fear more, I'm pretty sure that foreign world leaders, especially those within like the EU, are going to have more respect and be more fearful, right, of the intelligent prosecutor who wants to protect and preserve the American democracy and wants to fight for the American people, more so than the felon, rapist, fraudster, election denier that tried to stage a coup to overthrow our government because he baby raged when he lost the 2020 election. We literally have clips of like world leaders in NATO mocking and laughing at Trump.
Well, one, and again, we don't have to go deep into this. I am one of the believers that the 2020 election was rigged and messed with.
Oh, surely. Could you give me any evidence? Could you give me any evidence to indicate that 2020 was officially rigged?
He had more votes than Obama. There was the most ever mail-in ballots because of COVID, which is great reasoning. It's the same
Trump
reason
also had more votes than Obama.
Sorry?
Trump also had more votes than Obama?
Well, yeah. Do you think these people are ignorant? These people control the world. I'm not. And first, I don't even think. Anyways, not to get into that, but they're smart. They're intelligent. They know how to make things work. I think this election has a high chance of being rigged because they're allowing all these immigrants, and they're saying all these immigrants and women, they're all voting for the liberals. They're all voting for Democrats. But they're going to fake it no matter what. They're going to miscount these votes. They're going to rig this election, and then they can blame it on women and immigrants. And personally,
Hey, just real quick, I want to go back to my question, right? First of all, undocumented migrants, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you can't vote in federal elections.
No,
right?
no.
Second of all, I asked you for evidence to indicate that 2020 was sufficiently rigged to be overthrown, and you didn't give me any. You just kind of gave me your feelings. So can you give me any evidence for that, or do you not have any?
You didn't have to show ID to vote.
Yes,
the mail-in ballots.
Right. And like certain states, you do have to show ID to vote, right? Then also, mail-in ballots only go to documented U.S. citizens with mailing addresses. And then third of all, at the polls, you do have to be a U.S. citizen to vote, right? But I just want to wrap back around to my original question.
No, that's
Can
not
you give
true.
me any evidence to indicate that 2020 was sufficiently rigged to be overthrown?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, wait, yo, holy crap, 1 second, really quickly. Natasha, thank you so much for the $50 on Venmo. Holy crap, thank you so much for the love, Natasha. Let's get some massive W's in the chat for Natasha. Thank you so much for the $50. Massive W's for Natasha down below. And Yovan with the $100 on Venmo. Holy crap, Yovan, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Yovan says, you're a better businessman than Trump, who bankrupts a casino where the house literally always wins. So real, Yovan. But let's get some massive W's for Yovan and Natasha in that chat right now. You guys are so incredibly kind. Everybody, you guys have been so incredibly kind to me today. Thank you so much, Yovan and Natasha, for the $100 and the $50. That is actually insane. And Tara, thank you for the $10 as well. Massive W's for the donors in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. And Debbie, thank you for the $10 on PayPal as well. Let's go, guys. Anyways, Jamal, so do you not have sufficient evidence to demonstrate that 2020 was sufficiently rigged to be overthrown?
Well, like I said, there's many reasons to believe, and I just think that both sides are.
What are those reasons? Okay, he was kicked by community guidelines. It was probably for saying that the election was rigged. That does get people banned. We're going to go to move on to our next guest here, y'all. If you're in the queue, make sure that you're voting for Trump. And Matt, thank you so much for the $18 on PayPal. You guys are going off. You guys are going off today. Matt, seriously, thank you so much for the $18 on PayPal. W's for Yvonne, W's for Matt, W's for Natasha, W's for Tara. Thank you guys so much. We're going to go to move on to our next guest here. If you are MAGA, let me know in the chat. And Thumb with the $20 and the 24 cents on Venmo. W's for Matt and W's for Thumb in the comment section. Thank you so much for the $20 and the 24 cents, Thumb. W's for Thumb in the chat right now. Thank you so much, you guys. What's up, JB? You're of age. Are you voting for Trump?
Well, no. I'm sorry. That young.
No worries, JB. I appreciate you for coming up. Unfortunately, we are going to move on because we are just looking to debate Trump supporters. But that was surprising. Yo, let's get some W's for JB in the comment section. Fucking love you, man. Moving on to our next guest here, y'all. For the 4.3 thousand people hanging out on us, let's try to get up to 300,000 likes, 1,000 shares as well. If you're MAGA, right, let me know in the chat right now. We're going to go ahead and pull up our next guest, so everybody do be patient. Let's go to see what Bassman has to say. Mel, thank you so much for the small loan of $20 on Venmo. Thank you so much. This was a funny comment. Let's get some W's in the comment section for Mel right now. Thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo while we load up our next guest. Let's go and get Disciplined Mindset up in here, y'all. Everybody be patient. We have our next guest loading in for our next debate of the night. What's up? How old are you? All right, Disciplined Mindset automatically left. Guys, if you're MAGA, you're back. Hi.
I'm back.
Lee, thank you for the boxing gloves. So what's up, man? You sound of age. Are you voting for Trump?
Yeah, of course I'm of age. And yes, I am voting for Trump. I just feel like you don't have enough. All you do is sit behind a computer and read your Google searches. You got all these people giving you money, right? All these people giving you money and supporting your day job, because this is basically your day job. What have you done that has actually done anything for this country? You're 19-year-old. Did you even go to college?
Yeah, I'm currently in college.
Or you just behind the monitor?
Okay, so I'm currently in college. I'm enrolled as a student at CU
Right,
Boulder.
and this is your main income, right?
One moment.
And this is your main
thank you
income?
so much for the Tom's hug. Yeah, this is my main income, of course. Right. I only have one
so
job.
So a lot of people. Do you mind
if I finish without interrupting?
Let me just say this one thing.
Yeah,
and a lot of people that come into your lives, they come into your lives with, obviously people go to work and they don't have enough time to be sitting behind a monitor like you have. So they're not going to give you all the facts that you have behind the monitor. Okay? So I just want to make that very clear because, first of all, you don't let people talk.
Samantha, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal for actually doing something for this country. Let's get some W's in the comment section for Samantha for the $20 on PayPal right now. Thank you so much for the love, Samantha. I'm actively letting you talk, but go ahead and finish.
Yeah, no, you are, and thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Samantha, for the $20. W's for Samantha in the chat for the $20 for actually doing something for this country. Thank you. Go ahead and finish, man.
My thing is, so I just had a question regarding, I've heard a lot about you guys actually getting paid by the DNC for, promoting or talking about them.
Tammy with the $5 on Venmo sending this because this guy sounds jealous. Thank you for the love, Tammy. So yeah, if I was paid by the DNC, why am I not at the DNC right now?
By Pellet Entertainment. It's by Pellet Entertainment, which is a company.
I'm not okay. First of all, I'm not signed with Pallet. I don't have a management company. I'm not paid by the DNC. And yes, this is a real job. I'm going to go in and respond to all of the claims that you've been making so far. So you said that I'm not doing anything for the world around me. I'm not doing anything productive for society. I just sit on here and this is my day job.
Correct.
So I just want to let you know, I make money, right? Not because I'm pushing a narrative, spreading propaganda, convincing people of falsehoods, but rather, right, I do something, right, for this country and the world as a whole. I advocate for what's right. I get people to critically think about what they believe in and hopefully sway people's votes to the right side of history. And that's why people donate to me.
Okay.
Thank you for the money, gun. And honestly, you sound quite jealous coming up your pocket watching, talking about the money I make. It's
Not
almost as
jealous at all.
if you, right, a middle-aged man, is mad at seeing a 19-year-old boy straight out of high school as of 2 years ago currently going to college that is more informed than you are on the basis of politics, who's running for president, and important social issues, making more money than you probably do, right? So how about we set the pocket watching aside? How about we set the false allegations and the conspiracy theories that I'm paid by the DNC aside, and let's engage in a good, healthy, productive conversation about why you're voting for Trump.
Okay, why don't you speak of a person in the middle? You basically just everything that you say is basically on the left. Why not? Because we know that there's policies on both sides. So why don't you focus on being in the middle?
Oh, discipline! You got to disconnect your Bluetooth, man.
Promoting basically everything that has to do on the left.
If you're on an iPhone, swipe down from the top right hand corner, click the Bluetooth icon because your mic is so bad. But Nelsie, thank you so much for the $20 on PayPal from the DNC. Let's get some W's in the comment section for Nelsie for the $20 from the DNC. Thank you so much, Nelsie. Yo, let's go. W's for DNC and for the DNC and W's for Nelsie for the $20 on PayPal. Let's fucking go. Thank you for the love. Right? Apparently, I am paid by the DNC.
It would be more beneficial to I would think society, for everybody in the United States, that you would be talk from a point of, from being in the middle, except, instead of talking just every point that you make, it's a benefit to the left, right?
Okay, so are you gonna come up? Are you just gonna up here and whine like a baby, or debate me?
No, it's the truth. First of all, like I said, you're an 18-year-old that has not done anything for this country. What have you done? Have you gone to the military?
Yeah. So you're just assuming, right, that this 19-year-old has not done anything for this country.
You have not.
Right? I wouldn't mind assuming that I've done more than you.
Have you lived do you live with your parents?
I moved out at 17, little bro.
At 17, little bro? You could be my little bro.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, right? Maybe physically speaking, mentally not.
No, but I would
half your age, twice as wise. What about it?
You will not speak the way that you do. You know.
There we go. So you come up here saying that I'm too far left, I'm too far gone, I'm radical, I'm not doing anything for this country. What do you think going? One second. What do you think going on a TikTok live and low key implicitly threatening a 19-year-old? What do you think that does for this country?
How do you disrespect your elders? Everybody that has come in here.
Wait, do you expect me? Wait. Do you expect me to respect you when you come up into my live saying that I wouldn't hold the same attitude in real life and I'm paid for by the DNC and I don't do anything productive to this country? Right? I'm going to go to make it very clear. Hold on one second, man. 1 second. So respect.
If you talk.
So I don't respect by default, right? Respect is earned. And how do you think that you would how do you expect to gain my respect by coming up in here saying that, oh, I'm paid for by the DNC, I do nothing for a country, I probably live with my parents, I look at a monitor all day and I'm 19. What do you think the fuck that does? That doesn't earn my respect.
I didn't tell you were paid. I asked you.
Boss, I appreciate you.
Is it true about Pellet Entertainment and do you work for them?
No.
You don't work for them at all. So you're just
No.
making money out of, like people giving you money out to Venmo and all this stuff.
People agree with what I say, and out of the kindness of their heart, sometimes they'll donate to me on Venmo or PayPal in the bio.
Right.
I'm incredibly lucky, right, and undeserving
Yes.
to be in the position that I have, and I'm incredibly
True.
grateful for it, right? But
True.
anyways,
All I ask from you is to give people a little more time to answer your questions. You have like I said, you have a monitor in front of you. You have
sir, with all due respect, the only thing I have in front of me is my cell phone and a really immature 50-year-old that is seemingly wasting my time. So do you want to debate, right, about why you're voting for Trump, or did you just come up here to kind of whine?
lying. Okay, well, look. First of all, all this immigration.
Autumn, thank you for the $5 on Venmo for educating this country. And Tammy, thank you for the $5 on Venmo as well from the DNC. Autumn and Tammy, I really appreciate you guys for the love. And Erica, thank you for the money gun. Go ahead.
So talking about the immigration. So Kamala Harris was supposed to be the czar, which they keep on saying no, she was and she wasn't. Then I saw it on TV where
What authority did Harris have over the southern border?
Biden told her that she was in charge of the border.
What authority did Harris
Hey,
have over the southern border?
Hey, she was in charge of the border.
I'm asking you
That
what
was-
authority she had over the southern border.
What authority? She's the vice president of the United States of America.
So if you're
That's
just
the authority that
referencing
she has.
presidential authority, so what
well,
authority
you
does
come
the
up with
vice president have
policies, you
over
come
the
up-
southern border?
Okay, as a vice president in charge of the immigrant or whatever is going on at the border, you
Can you tell
as
me
in-
what authority the VP has over the southern border?
What do you mean? She can come up with policies, right? That will make the border a lot better.
Oh,
a
she
lot
can
safer
influence
for us.
policies through Congress?
Yes, she would. Yes, she
So,
would.
so what about the bill influenced through Congress, drafted by a Republican with bipartisan support from the Democrats and the Biden-Harris
Can you
administration?
put a link in
that
here?
was
Because I don't
shot.
have my computer in front of me.
That was shot down, right? Because Trump called the Republicans in the House and the Senate and told them to torpedo the bill because it made the Democrats look good, with him quote unquote saying at one of his rallies to blame it on him with the border bill fails. Deborah,
That's
thank you for the
not true.
$10 on
That's not
Venmo
true.
for
That's
being
the
our
reason.
voice. Thank you so much for the love, Deborah. W's for Deborah in the chat for the $10 on Venmo.
I don't know if you remember, but when Biden was, running for election, he promised DACA and the parents of DACA that he was going to give them a pathway to citizenship in the first 100 days of his administration. He did not do crap. I'm Hispanic, and I'm not talking from a point of privilege as other people that might be behind the monitor, as you might understand that. He promised that in the first 100 days. What did he do? Nothing. So, but
So
then
actually,
he opens,
can you give me a source on that? All right, because what I'm reading right now is that there's no direct path from deferred action to lawful permanent residence or to citizenship
Right,
provided by
because-
DACA. Never
right,
has been.
because
So can you please
DACA
give me a source that
DACA-
Okay, sir, I'm really done with the interruptions. Okay, right?
Okay, well,
Can you hold your voice
Go ahead,
for,
go ahead,
for,
go ahead.
for a
Go ahead.
two-way street
go
conversation
ahead,
here?
go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, you referenced, right, first of all, Kamala Harris having authority over the southern border insofar as she could influence policy through Congress, right? So how do you feel about the fact that that the Biden-Harris administration did influence policy through Congress, then it was shot down in the Senate because Trump called the Republican lawmakers and told them to vote against it to torpedo the bill when it would have solved the crisis years ago?
Well, see, look.
Michelle, thank you for the $10 on Venmo for
totally-
being such a smart 19-year-old. Michelle, I really appreciate you for that love. Let's get some W's in the chat for Michelle. Go ahead, answer.
Every one of them will have indigenous blood in them. Every one of them.
Nope, not me.
For the $15, each and every single one of your family members for switching their vote. W's for Des. That is huge. So you're not answering my
Biden-
question. Do I need to repeat it?
Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, so you asked me why Harris hasn't done anything for the southern border. I asked you what authority she had, and you said, well, she's the authority to influence policy through Congress, right? So they did, right? They influenced a Republican-drafted bipartisan border bill in 2022, right? And it got to the Senate after it passed the House, and it was shot down by Trump calling Republican lawmakers and telling them to vote against it to intentionally torpedo the bill so he could use the issue of the southern border crisis as a tool to campaign today. How do you feel
Well,
about that?
Trump wasn't in office, so I don't know what bill you're referencing to, or if you have any recorded phone calls. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
sure, I can tell you.
look,
So this is going to
I'm
be the
Hispanic.
Secure the Border Act, right?
So
And
I'm-
he particularly called the Republicans in Congress, right? And we have, right, Trump at a rally in Nevada saying to blame it on him if the border bill fails. He said that you should blame
Okay,
it on him.
where's the proof?
So
I've never seen this.
Yeah, so we could reference The Hill, right? Just look up Trump says to blame it on him if the border bill fails, The Hill, right? As well as other
Is there
publications that would report the same findings.
Is there any government websites that say that? I mean, I see.
So you seem to be asking for like a really weird standard of evidence to prove what I'm saying here. I don't think that a government website would be necessary.
I need real evidence that he
So
actually.
I am giving you real evidence.
How is a publication from a left wing media or platform that he said these things?
Because it was reporting on what he said at his Nevada rally.
Unless you have recordings or unless you have him in writing saying that he does not support, and again, he doesn't have anything to do with that.
So I don't really listen. I understand that like certain like one second, man. I'm gonna go ahead and like just respond to this. So like I understand, right? If you wouldn't want to reference like left-leaning sources, typically because of some political bias they may have, right? But I'm not even asking you to reference like the Hill's opinion piece. This is just the Hill reporting on an objective fact. That being that at one of Trump's rallies, he told his friend to blame it on him if the border bill fails.
I really thought that was a fact.
So you're just being skeptical of reality at this point? I'm not here to talk to fringe conspiracy theorists. I'm here to talk to people that are well acquainted with the world around them.
Is it true?
So this is reported on. So I just want to clarify. This is a fact that is reported on by like all mainstream. I did. I gave you the source.
Show me government sources, credible sources. I don't believe the Hill or any left-wing media or platforms are actually basing their facts on.
Once again, this is recorded and it's coming from one of his rallies.
In 2022, he was basically being tried for whatever they've been trying on.
What the fuck does that have to do with him saying at one of his rallies to blame it on him and the border bill fails?
He has not been the president. He has nothing to do because he was not president at the time. The first 2 years of Congress were basically they had everything. In the beginning, when he's saying the first 100 days.
If you want to reference, we literally have a video of him saying this. But real quick, I have a couple things to shout out here. But Steven, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. Frank, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmos. Buddy, please chill. Please just chill for 1 second while I shout out.
Okay, go ahead.
Just like when I'm shouting out a couple donors, like you could put a pause on the yak.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
Steven, and then Frank, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo as well. Let's get some W Franks in the chat for the $20 on Venmo. And Allison with a $35 on Venmo. I want to see at least 100 W's for Allison, Frank, and Steven in that chat. Allison, thank you so much for the love. That means the world to me. Thank you so much, Allison. And George, thank you for the $58 on PayPal. I want to see at least 300 W's for George in that comment section right now for the $50 on PayPal. That's insane, you guys. George, Allison, Steven, and Frank, thank you guys so much. That it means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for your support.
This is the last point I'm going to make regarding immigration. So in the first 100 days, he promised DACA and DACA parents that he was going to, do a pathway to citizenship for them. Okay, let me get this fact out, and that's all. For the first 2 years, Biden and Harris, they had, control the House, control the Senate, and control the presidency, right? So in those 2 years, they could have passed every single thing that they could have, or they wanted to, and they did not do anything. And I'm speaking for especially Mexican people, that they were hoping to get, some way of pathway to citizenship, and they did not. And many people are disappointed at what happened. And I'm talking about people that are hardworking, they've been paying their taxes, they've been doing everything the right way. So now that they get all this immigration coming in from people from Venezuela or other countries, and they see that they're getting licenses, they're getting visas, they're getting permits to work, they feel.
1 second.
Of our party, there is zero chance I will support this horrible border's betrayal of America. It's not going to happen. I noticed that. I noticed a lot of the senators are trying to say respectfully they're blaming it on me. I said that's That's okay. Please blame it on me. Please.
Yeah, so there's a clip of Trump saying to please blame the border bill failing on Trump. So you said that was like propaganda from the left. So yeah, there's a clip from his rally in Nevada that I was referencing earlier, where he says to please blame it on him for it failing, admitting to calling the Republican senators in Congress, telling them not to pass the bill.
Look at what Biden and Harris did to the border. This uncontrolled immigration.
Hey man, with all due respect, right? You still haven't addressed this claim straight on, right? You continually pivot around it. So I'm going to go and give you one last opportunity to directly respond to my claim here before I just kick you. But I don't have time for a rational old man.
That's fine.
So once again, right, your claim was that Harris did nothing for the southern border when she had the power to influence policy through Congress. So the Biden-Harris did influence a Republican-drafted bipartisan border bill through Congress in 2022. It passed the House, and when it got to the Senate, Trump called. Okay, you could go on.
It did not, because it should have passed. They have control of the Senate as well.
So I just want to clarify.
Even now, they have control of the Senate.
Discipline. I would like to clarify. You could look up the Secure the Border Act.
You know that is true, though. You know that is true. Even now, they have control of the Senate.
Okay. So you could look up the Secure the Border Act, Congress.gov, right? You could go right on Congress's official website, and you could look at the fact that this happened, right? Directly from Congress.gov. All right, I'm done with your delusions. I'm done with your denial of reality. I played you a clip of Trump saying to please blame it on him if it fails. Trump shot it down by calling the Republican lawmakers in the Senate. This has been reported by the guy that drafted the bill, Langford, who's Trump endorsed, by the way, going on Fox News complaining about it. Right, the same thing happened with Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz. Right, they all spoke out against Trump because Trump torpedoed this bill. Right, I'm done with your denial of reality. It's really embarrassing. It's not.
Okay. Well, I'm also speaking of truth, because in 2022, Trump, look, if he speaks in a rally regarding what's going on, it doesn't matter because he's not in charge, okay? So if he's not in charge...
Stacey, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. I really appreciate you for the love. Let's get some W's for Stacey in the comment section. I really appreciate you for your kind message as well there, Stacey. Massive W's down below. So now you're saying it doesn't matter because he couldn't have any influence. So he literally did influence it to fail. That's a fact. Should we just kick him, chat? I think that he's leaving. Okay, we're gonna go to move on to our next. Okay, so it is a fact, right, that he did influence that to fail.
No, he has no influence on when he's not the president. Okay. How is he going to influence that?
Right, by calling the Republicans, telling them to vote against it for his endorsement.
Like I said, they were not in charge.
Okay, all right. We're just going to move on. Appreciate you for coming up, man. We're going to move on to our next guest here, y'all. Let's go to see what Whiskey Golf Club has to say, right? Just complete denial of reality. Let's go and find someone that's a little bit more coherent. What's going on? How old are you? Whiskey, you're on the live. How old are you?
Oh, what's up, man?
45.
Nice, man. Are you voting for Trump?
Yes.
All right, and why is that?
So we have these arguments all the time on here.
Bailey, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo saying keep it up. I appreciate you for the love, Bailey. W's for Bailey down below. Thank you for the $10. Go ahead, man. I apologize for interrupting.
No, good. I appreciate what you do, and I think it's really awesome that you're very well informed, and just want you to know, like, a lot of respect for you guys. And I've got friends who are liberals and Democrats, and I lived in California for a while, and living in California actually is what convinced me to stay Republican.
Okay, so why are you voting for Trump?
Because I do like his policies. I did like my life, my family's life, my friends' lives, my businesses.
True. So what's one policy that Trump influenced to get passed while he was president that you agreed with?
He provided a tax relief for the middle class. Everyone thinks he only cuts for the top percent. He passed a $3.2 trillion tax cut for the middle class. He cut taxes on the first 24 grand that middle class made. It helped provide jobs, even helped increase wages. It really helped. What else? Double the child tax credit.
So we're going to work backwards here. So about doubling the child tax credit in 2021, that's historically done every 10 years. It would actually been really ahistorical if he didn't double the child tax credit, right? Secondly, about these tax cuts supposedly for the middle class, right? So actually 83% of these tax cuts went to the top 1%, and it served as a detriment to the low and the middle class. We would have an evaluation from the Tax Policy Center that indicate over the 10-year lifespan of the bill that it'll actually decrease the after-tax income of the low and the middle class. Additionally speaking here, Harris wants to take the TCJA away Trump's tax cuts and reform them to be more beneficial to the low and middle class and not to severely serve as a detriment to them by predominantly benefiting the top 1%. Right? And if we want to talk about the low and middle class, this was also something that Trump happened to thwart by electing justices to the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Pro-life legislation leads to higher rates of poverty, lower rates of employment and education. Right? And this is also something that Trump will just destroy if he's reelected, as he wants to replace the federal income tax with tariffs, which are inflationary and will predominantly serve as a detriment to that low and middle class. Meanwhile, Harris wants to offer a $25,000 subsidy to first-time home buyers for new homes. Harris wants to increase the child tax credit. Retro, thank you for the boxing gloves. I appreciate you for the love. To $6,000 for children under 1, right, and $5,000 for children under 5. Right, we see that Harris actually fights to reduce income inequities, fights for the low and the middle class. Meanwhile, Trump tries to dismantle them.
That was a lot to take in. You're way well more informed than I am about all that. Now, as far as tariffs go, I thought tariffs would help, as in we don't pay the tariffs. It would wouldn't that provide us with more internal production in America, more American jobs created by that because we need to make more product?
We do pay the tariffs, right? So what happens is predominantly this would cause, right, the price of U.S. produced goods to go up, right, as we'd see a reduce in supply of goods from foreign countries, which of course with a consistent demand would cause like the equilibrium of price to go up, basic principles of economics there, right? And then secondly, right, for the goods that are imported, that tariff is going to be passed off to tax the consumer, right? And because the low and the middle class spend a disproportionate amount of their income on the bare necessities to live, they're also going to be disproportionately affected by that tax or that is passed off to them, right? But I actually have a question for you here. Would you vote for someone that's been held civilly liable for inserting himself into a woman forcefully without her consent?
Well, in my industry too, it's see the way that question is yeah, you should say no, because civilly liable, legally liable, absolutely not. If it was a crime, if it was a criminal court that tried him for that, absolutely not. 100%. Unfortunately, I've had some incidents involving friends and family who have been abused in that matter, and of course we want nothing but pain for that person for the rest of their life. No, criminally liable, no. And another.
Actually, if you'd vote for someone that's held civilly liable for rape.
Civilly liable, again, I feel like that's more of a he said, she said, and a.
Not at all.
Yes, because I believe that people with money are targeted, and I believe that. Yes, while that happened back in the 90s, I believe.
So is your answer here yes or no?
My answer is I'm not going to hold it again. I disregard that.
You would vote for him. So would you still vote for Trump if you held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl?
Absolutely not, and that's completely different.
Okay. Well, the only difference there is who's being raped, right? Not the standard of evidence that they use to prove the rape. So this shows that you're not really concerned by the standard of evidence that are required to be met in civil courts, but you're more just so concerned with like who Trump has raped. So why would you say that you would vote for Trump if you held civilly liable for the rape of an adult woman, but not for the rape of a little girl? What's the difference?
That's because they're both morally wrong. I'm not one to do that. I'm not taking sides. I'm definitely not misogynistic. I'm 100% like a gentleman in all aspects. Even when it comes to the case of pro-choice, I understand your question again. It's not. It's a good question. It's a good question. The answer should be no. The answer should absolutely be no. It really should.
Because there's not a difference there. If you want to vote for Trump, if he raped a little girl, you shouldn't vote for Trump because he raped an adult woman, right? Predominantly, the reason I asked that question is because I think it's easier to dehumanize E. Jean Carroll, right? Because that is what has been portrayed in like right-leaning media since 2019, right? It's almost as if people have been societally conditioned into treating her as a monolith of the left, not a woman, right? And it's just a little bit harder to dehumanize a little girl. But I don't think that you should hold a different standard here. You said that you wouldn't vote for Trump if he was held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, right? So in that same breath, if you can't name a difference here, you shouldn't vote for Trump since he was held civilly liable for the rape of an adult woman.
Yeah, and I know the difference there too is when you say a little girl, I think you're referring to the Teen USA thing, where he feels like he can walk into the rooms when he wants or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, so he wasn't held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl, right? But he boasted about walking into the changing rooms of half-naked teenage girls in Miss Teen USA to inspect them, right? He also said that he dated a 10-year-old girl in 10 years, literally sexualizing a 5th grader, right? But overall, here it seems like you can't name a difference between him being held civilly liable for the rape of a little girl and the rape of an adult woman, right? So if you want to vote for him in one scenario, you shouldn't vote for him in the other scenario either.
I'll admit you got me on that one. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And that argument can't be won. You're absolutely right. And unfortunately, because there was no little girl involved, that's not going to convince me otherwise.
Okay,
But
so you just admit to being irrational on that point then? If you can't name a distinction and you'd vote for him in one scenario but not the other scenario, right? He was also accused of rape by Katie Johnson, a 13-year-old. He was accused of raping, imprisoning, and torturing her with Epstein. But yeah, so if you can't name like a good reason why you'd hold a different standard here, right? Would you just admit it's the case that you're being irrational?
I could, yeah, you could. Man, you're smart, bro. You're a smart kid. I don't even call you a kid, man. You speak like an adult. You were a respectable one.
If you admit that the only way to vote for Trump is engaging in irrationalities, shouldn't this give you good reason not to vote for Trump?
It really should. I think it's just. I don't know what in me, and I don't know. Maybe it's just my. Again, I feel like this is a truth. I feel that there's Republican, like I don't know. I guess influencers, you could say, like yourself on the right, that are doing the same thing from the right as for the left, and all of us who are, call us all uninformed, like, because as most voters are, I believe, left and right. It seems the extreme side of everything that you're, the questions you're asking and the points you're making are being asked on the other end about the same things too as on the right we're hearing.
Really? Right. So like a lot of the questions that ask about Trump pertaining to his character is about vehement sexism, racism, and the fact that he's been held civilly liable for rape, right? Can you point out where either of those 3 attributes would be present in Harris?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
You said that your response there was, well, the same things that I'm asking you right now to do with Trump being a rapist, racist, misogynist, etc., right, could also be asked of Harris. But I'm not so sure that's correct. I don't think they could, right? Because Harris hasn't been held civilly liable for rape. Harris doesn't have a racist past, right? She didn't deny housing to black people because they're black in the 70s. She didn't propone the birther movement of Barack Obama, saying because he's black, he's obviously not a natural-born U.S. citizen, therefore he shouldn't be able to run for president, right? Harris doesn't have a vehemently sexist past like Trump's treatment towards women, saying he could just grab them by the pee, doesn't even need to ask first, alongside other instances as well, right? So I think your claim that what I'm asking you about the right could also be asked of the left is false, right? Because the same questions can't be asked of Harris.
What I meant was some of the outside of this point, which is, don't get me wrong, a disgusting point. If that's true about Trump, actually, if he's been again. Accused is one thing, tried and convicted is another.
Yeah, he was tried and held like legally and financially responsible for this, right?
Yes.
From a unanimous jury, he has to pay out $90 million.
Yeah. Well, that's disgusting. That's just that is pretty disgusting. So again, outside of this, the extremities of the right and the extremities